Hey guys, what's up? Today is 2nd of October and let's discuss the question answer discussion series of today in English, and the Hindi version of it is also available in my YouTube channel. So if you at all want to watch it in Hindi, you can watch it there, right? So let's discuss the very first question. All at once, India's healthcare suffers from quality, quantity, footprint, access, affordability issue. This is a statement given which you have to critically analyze. Means you have to write the all and every aspects of this question. Now, see this every aspects of questions has been clearly mentioned that what are the aspects given. Quality, you have to deal with that why our India's healthcare's quality is deteriorating. All right, those you have to discuss the taking the quality as a keyword, then quantity, then footprint, access, affordability. Means these are the few five aspects you have to deal separately, right? Now let's means why part you have to deal each and every aspect separately. All right, next is you can incorporate that what India has done so far in our Indian healthcare system, means what the government has done so far, and at the last, since critically analyze is there, so if you are writing a way forward point that what should India do in future so that our healthcare system, the places where there are loopholes or the places where the healthcare system seems to be deteriorating, how could be nullified, right? So all the aspects you have to write. Now since it has been the question revolves around Indian healthcare system, so what I have analyzed the question, I will write about India's healthcare system. What was India's healthcare system in past and what it is now. I mean, that is a way of my introducing this question. All right, now and yours depends upon, totally depends upon you. So let's see the answer, discuss the answer first. Like, since ages, India has taken lead in the healthcare quality services. है ना? And I have given an example that Shushruta Shamhita is a famous text on surgery and medicines, and it is quite an example. We are not bluffing around, right? India, there is proof we have, and the proof is Shushruta Shamhita, and there are many other things also whichever has been taken in the field of health, and you can incorporate it in your answers. I will not obstruct you, but just from what I have remembered, so I have written this point, right? Next is, but the recent times, however, the healthcare care system has lagged behind on many fronts. And what are those fronts? And these fronts are exhaustively mentioned in the question. You just have to deal that what where the I mean where is the inequality aspects where India is lacking. So it is basically alleged that the quality aspects of healthcare system of India is deteriorating day by day, है ना? And because of this sector getting commercialized, means if a sector gets commercialized, then people do it for a business motive. Means if people is doing something for a business motive, then they will majorly focus on their profit. They won't major focus on the profit of beneficiaries. Like here by beneficiaries I mean to say that businessman, right? They just focus on their profit, right? That's why the quality is getting deteriorating. Now the second point was quantity, because quantity is getting very dismal because of the failure of doctor to patient ratio in every parts of India, and also the availability of needed services whatever is being required to take care of these health services. Say for example, availability of medicines, all right, availability of ambulance services. So these kind of availabilities are also not there in many parts of India. Next is footprint of healthcare system is also dismal because it is unreached in the remotest areas, which results for the unaccessibility of healthcare system. Last but not the least is affordability thing you can deal with is like there's huge out of pocket expenditure. And the second point what I have mentioned is doctor don't prescribe the generic medicines in spite of the fact that the government urges so much from the doctor that please do mention these generic medicines. See, basically the thing, they don't mention those generic medicines because they mentions the medicines of private manufacturer, just because of the reason that they are getting commissions from that, right? So I mean, these are few of the reasons why the healthcare system is deteriorating, and few of the more reasons what I thought of, which was not belonging to these above sectors, where weak regulation mechanism by the government. Because see, the doctor is reading here, all right, he's getting education from India, but he's going to some other country for making more money, right? So this causes brain drain. Next, you can put include is about the rural area, there is no accessibility of these healthcare services. Next is black marketing sometimes also occurs. It has been seen that the medicines are black marketed, they are being sold at higher prices. That's why the normal the normal people of India can't afford that much money, right? Next is less share of GDP being is spent by the government, all right, in the government budgeting, and it is merely 1.5%. But if you will see the spending of big countries like uh, China, then China spend more than 2%, right? And it is around 2.5 if I'm not wrong. And moreover, the GDP of China is 5 times more than India. All right. So just imagine how much they spend. That's why the medical conditions, I mean, the healthcare system of China is much better than India. Next is unsynchronized resource chain supply. As I've already discussed that there is no synchronization is resource chain supply. Say for example, you are residing in remotest corner of India, right? So there is no infrastructure connectivity you are getting. So that's why the ambulance facilities is not there. So I mean, see, there's weak link in, even if in single sector, then it will affect the whole healthcare system, right? So that's why I'm telling that there's unsynchronization in the resource chain supply. Next is public hospital, also infrastructure lackage in public hospital. That's why the normal people also don't want to go to public hospital, rather they prefer the private hospital, and where they have to spend more money. Next is primary healthcare and community healthcare system is also lacking in India. So these are the few of the factor reason behind the poor healthcare system. Now next is what the government has done so far. The government has popularized the generic medicines to the extent whatever is being needed. For that, government has also inaugurated Jan Aushadhi Center, but that is I mean, government has though has asked said for implementation of the Jan Aushadhi centers, but still this center has not been implemented in many parts of India, right? These are only set up in major places. Next is basically tier 1 and tier 2 cities. Next is mobile checkup vans are also being inaugurated by the government. Next is there is increase in ambulance services which government has ensured, so that there is inclusive affordability could be given to the normal people of India. Next is helicopter service has also been introduced by the government in the northeastern region, where the accessibility is very less. All right. Why these things are being done by government? Because government want that the healthcare services attainment could be more and more supplied to the general mass, so that the normal people, so the economically weaker section of people could also avail the services, right? Next is there is price control by the government through NPPA, that is National Pharmaceutical and Pricing Authority. Then recently government has introduced NEET exam, also NEET exam for the medical entrance. And see this how this will affect by, since government has introduced this NEET exam, then the admissions which were up till now been taking place through donations also, but these donation criteria will go away and the people will be selected on the merit basis, right? And how this will positively affect this medical sector, because earlier what used to happen was, since I say for example, I'm taking my example, if I'm getting entered in a medical college through money power, then I will also think in future so that I will earn more, right? And the same thing will happen to me also. But the thing is that they usually, those people who enter by I mean, the majority of the cases is that if I'm getting entered through donation, then in my future, my mindset will be also of commercialization thing. Means my feelings for the normal people of India will be much lesser than what a normal guy which is getting entered through a competition way he will be having, right? So that's why I mean they are more less of ethical personality, right? So that's why the government has done these steps so that the healthcare system could increase in our country, right? Now next is, what is the need of the hour? See, R&D facility must be increases. I mean, it must be increased in, medicinal sector. Next is budgetary allocation must also be increased. Public government must see for the public private partnership thing. Next is so that the private people can also be incorporated in this health sector and it could be made more professional and efficient. Next is focus must be given on non communicable and lifestyle diseases which are being seen in the present day context, and these lifestyle and non communicable diseases are only increasing day by day. Next is government aided free counseling centers must also be included in different parts of the country, because it is being seen that the lifestyle diseases like tension, all right, tension, headache, these are kind of diseases which are leading to people death. All right, people, not only people death, but many kind of diseases are also being coming through these lifestyle diseases. So there must, if there is counseling center, so there will and that counseling center, if that is free by the government, then it will be more convenient for the people to consult in this consultancy center, all right, and share their what is the trouble they are facing. Then there are some sort of diseases like which are secret in nature and which are sexual kind of diseases, all right, and the people don't want to disclose it with their any relative or doctor, right? So for those kind of services must be availed by the government at a cheaper or free of cost, all right. I mean, at least at a cheaper rate, and so that the secrecy could also be maintained. All right. Last but not the least, guys, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is the need of the hour, because if there is swachhata around, if there is cleanliness around some places, then it is quite more. It is less probable that the people residing by that region will get get that disease, right? So that's why these are the points you can incorporate. Next is, pulses have seen an average annual inflation rate of 12%, the highest among food crop in the past 12 years. This is the statement given. Means from here they want to ask you that why this has happened, right? Next is, what step can government take to stabilize the prices of pulse? These two simple questions are given, so you just have to examine this. Now, since examine you have to write, then you have to write about a bit thing about pulse, whatever the fact you know about pulse, that whether it's a rabi crop, whether it's a kharif crop, whether it is a zaid crop, or what is the India's rank in the production of pulses or something like that. Whatever. I mean, and that fact you will only get to know through if you have command over the geography portion, right? So anyways, let's discuss, guys. First I'll discuss about a bit about pulse, and next I'll decode this whole sentence by writing that why this has happened, why there is inflation, right? Next I'll write is what steps the government must take to stabilize the prices of pulse. These are the three parts which we are going to discuss in this answer, right? Now, pulse is a food crop which has high protein content. This is a specification I'm giving about pulse. Next is, ironical situation is there that India is the largest producer of pulse also, as well as largest importer of pulse. Means just see the extent of the intake of pulse we are doing in our country, right? Now, the reason why the pulse there is inflation in pulse is there is greater demand with respect to supply at the local market. There is unsatisfactory minimum selling price that is being allotted to the farmers, right, which discourages the Indian farmers to produce pulse. Next is, per hectare production of pulse is also very less with respect to other food crops. Say for example, pulse, say with the quantity of pulse they are getting is X from X amount of land, then the quantity of other food crops is more than X amount, right? As well as the MSP is also I mean the overall, if some farmer is growing rice in that patch of field where he is growing pulses, then he is attaining more money from that rice thing, not from pulse. All right, though the MSP for pulse is more than MSP for rice, but still the per hectare production of the rice is more than the pulse, right? So that's why overall the money that farmer is getting is more from the rice. That's why farmers also don't prefer to produce pulse over rice, all right, or any other food crop. So that's why the thing is. Next is improper infrastructure is there for post harvest storage. Say for example, cold storage is not available. So and which leads to, the rotting away of those pulses. So these are the few of the reasons. Next is vagaries of monsoon is also very important. In fact, this is the first point which you should write, right? Due to which there is a price instability. All right. Now what is the need, right? So need is the satisfactory minimum selling price by the government. Government must ensure a minimum selling price. All right, and also ensure the procurement. It's not that government has just said that okay, we'll give that MSP and they are not doing procurement. Procurement facility must also be rationalized and effectively done. All right, so that the farmers could get the exact amount of MSP money which they are being said by the government. Next is government's regulations. Government must increase regulation, and if possible government must take over those land. All right, if government is taking over those land, then what the thing will happen is that it will be on the onus of government to produce that pulses, right? Means since that is the land of government, then government has the owners to produce the pulses, and government in future also they can't blame the farmers simply that this is due to the vagaries of the monsoon or something like that. Since the government is having the means owners, so they will be having accountability. All right, and since they will be having accountability, so they will do their all out effort, so that they can't get, they won't be getting criticized in the national media. All right, so they will do their all out effort to produce the exact amount, the optimum amount of pulses which is whichever is being needed for the for the people of India to satisfy their needs. Next is we should introduce genetically modified pulses which the developed countries have also already introduced in their land, so that the production is increased. All right. Next is if possible we should import pulses from other countries also, and that exchange and that purchase can be done through barter system. Say for example, we are very good at the sugarcane is more than excessively produced in our country. So what we can do is we can import pulses from other country, and in spite of that we'll give them sugarcane thing, right? So this I mean different aspects must be explored by the government, whatever being the possible aspects, so that the government can procure much amount of pulse. Next is crop insurance for the pulse must be given at a special rates, not at a rate of that Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana 2% and 1.5%. No, not that. In fact, it must be given more than that, right? And that must be done specially for pulses, so that at least farmers will get confidence that okay, if at all in future my crops is getting damaged, so I'll be getting a decent amount of money for that, right? So yeah, this was all about the two questions discussed today, guys. We'll meet in next class. Till then, bye bye, take care, and thank you for listening to me, guys. Thank you very much.